Tati claims that this is the best foundation of 2025.
The best foundation of 2025. And I know that sounds like a stretch. You might think she's exaggerating. It can't be done. Like, we're just starting 2025. We need something good in 2025, right?
But here's the thing. We're in February. So we have a lot of 2025 to do. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to today's video. We're doing a foundation wear test and review of the new Anastasia Impeccably Matte Blurring Second Skin Foundation. This is a new release in 2025 and it has gone viral on the internet, and there are claims that it is the best foundation of 2025. And I'm here today to put it to the test, and I want to see if it really is like the best of 2025, because we have a lot of 2025 to get through, let's be honest. And I mean, I've tried so many other foundations. I will leave my foundation playlist linked in the eye for you guys so you can go check it out. But I do have some absolute favorites. And I want to know if this one is going to become another favorite or if it's going to be a dud. If you guys are new here, my name is Stacy. I feature unfiltered makeup opinions, honest reviews. I do foundation, full-length foundation reviews. I have tutorials, and I also have the unfiltered series. So go check out that series after this video. Let's take a deep dive into the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Impeccably Matte Blurring Second Skin Matte Foundation. Actually, the packaging is really pretty. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I really do like the frosted glass with this like nice metal top, and it is a pump. The shade that I have is 1CR, which is fair skin with cool, rosy undertones. Impeccable foundation delivers medium to full, long-lasting coverage with a natural velvet matte finish using precision blur technology. It blurs pores and imperfections with hyaluronic acid, hydrates and smooths the skin. Get seamless, flawless coverage that wears comfortably for up to 12 hours. It says it hydrates the skin with hyaluronic acid to maintain plump, bouncy skin. It blurs, smooths, and minimizes pores, fine lines, wrinkles, and texture. It visibly evens skin tone and masks discoloration, redness, and blemishes. It has a no-slip formula that doesn't melt, separate, or settle into lines. It's ideal for all skin types, especially oily skin. And it is available in 25 flexible shades and undertones. It has been dermatology tested. It's non-comedogenic and safe for sensitive skin. It is free of phthalates, gluten, mineral oil, talc, sulfates, parabens, oil, and fragrance. And it also claims, when they did their research, that 100% agreed it instantly masks imperfections and discoloration. 99% agree their skin doesn't look oily or shiny after applying it. 98% agree their skin looks more even after applying it. And 96% agree it gives my skin a natural soft matte finish. This has a lot of claims to it, that it's going to blur and it's going to constantly hydrate because it has hyaluronic acid in it. Let me just tell you a little bit about my skin as I put on some like skin prep, because my skin does feel a little bit tight. It feels a little bit dry today, and we are in the middle of winter. So yeah, my skin is a little bit, it's not dry, but it's definitely tight. For skincare prep, I'm using a hyaluronic acid serum, and I'm also using the Glow Recipe Watermelon Niacinamide Dew Drops. And then we will put my actual primer on, but this is just to plump my skin and like get it re-moisturized, because it does feel a little bit dry. And it said that if your skin feels a little bit dry, to use, you know, your skincare products. So a little bit about me, my skin. I do find that the weather can affect your makeup and how it wears throughout the day. So I am 35 years old. I have very fair, pasty pale skin. I'm very pasty pale. I honestly compare myself to like ghost white or pasty pale. That is my skin tone. I do have cool undertones. I am not a warm undertone person. I am definitely somebody with pink undertones, and I can use neutral foundations as well because it's a neutral base. It's not too warm and it's not too cool. It's just a neutral tone. So I do have a fair, cool, that is my complexion. I do suffer from hyperpigmentation. As you can see, I get it on my cheeks specifically. Right now, I do have some blemishes that I want to see if this foundation is going to be able to cover up, blur, and smooth away. And I do have fine lines underneath my eyes specifically. And I also have some texturization underneath my eyes, and that's just because I'm a mom and life is stressful sometimes. I also have fine lines on my forehead, and they go horizontally, and I do have fine lines in between my eyebrows as well. And depending on the type of foundation that I use, sometimes it really emphasizes the fine lines in between my eyes as well. Like if it settles into there, I look aged, I look old, I look decrepit, and foundations like that just don't work for me. When I did order the foundation, it actually came with their complexion sponge, but it also said to use the A30 brush as well, which was a brush that was specifically made for this foundation. And I'm like, should we use a sponge? Should we use a brush? I'm thinking we're going to use a brush today. We're going to use the FL1 from Singe Beauty. This is one of my favorite foundation brushes. Very small, detailed. It's a really great foundation brush. As for the weather outside today, we're in the middle of winter. So as I said, my skin needs a little bit more extra hydration. It is a little bit drier out. So obviously, like prepping my skin with all of these really good like skincare loving ingredients is really going to help my skin, and it's going to plump it as well. Now, I was looking at the ingredients for this specific foundation, and it does have dimethicone in it, which that leads me to believe that it's a silicone-based primer, especially with the blurring like quality that it claims that it has. And if it's silicone-based, I don't want to use a water-based primer. I'm thinking about using a silicone-based primer. I usually use the e.l.f. Power Grip Primer when I do foundation wear tests. But when I looked at the ingredient list, I was like, oh, this does have dimethicone, and using the Power Grip Primer, that actually has like, it's more of a water-based primer. I don't think that's going to work very well with this foundation. So we're actually going to be using the e.l.f. Liquid Poreless Putty Primer today. And I'm going to test this first. If I like how it wears with this, then, I mean, usually with foundation wear tests, like I said, I like to use the Power Grip Primer. But today we're using this one because I'm pretty sure that with all the dimethicone that is in the foundation, it won't really mesh well with the Power Gripping Primer from e.l.f. So our first wear test is being done with this primer, which is a silicone-based primer. It is supposed to blur and smooth my skin. And I like the poreless, like I like the liquid version better because it's easier to get on my face, whereas the like putty one, not so easy. I do really like it, but I honestly like the poreless version a lot better. And I think it smooths my skin a lot better too, and it's easier to apply. I'm also noticing like no pilling between the skincare and the primer, so we aren't having any problems already. I really do like the packaging of this foundation. It's really pretty. So it said 1 to 2 pumps. I'm going to put it on my foundation plate here. So we're going to do, this is going to take a while. Come on. Okay. Did I get it done? Okay, there we go. 1, 2. Ooh, this is super thick. Like, look how thick that is. That is a thick foundation. That was about 2 pumps, and I got a little bit on the bottle, so I'm just going to place this on the skin. This is a really good skin match. When I was shade matching myself, I got the shade 1CR, which is a cool rosy undertone for fair skin, and this is an awesome shade match for me. Look how good that is. That's such a good shade match for me. Right now, it's not looking like it's going to pull too yellow. I recently tried another foundation where it said it was neutral undertones, and it ended up pulling so yellow on my skin. So we're going to do one side of my face. We're using the FL1 from Singe Beauty. We're tapping this into the skin first. And a lot of people have claimed that this is like a second skin foundation as well, that it's really just going to make you look like you have your skin but better, and it's going to blur and minimize pores and even out my skin tone. I'm not going to lie, I've actually been super excited to try this foundation. And when I ordered it on Ulta, I was like, yeah, I am hoping that this actually lives up to the hype. Are you hoping it lives up to the hype? Leave me a comment down below, because I'm hoping it lives up to the hype. So this is actually applying really nicely. Like in my mirror over here, it's applying really nicely. On camera, it looks really, really nice. It is matte, but it almost has like this, a little bit of a sheen to it. I'm actually going to pull out just another mirror to take a closer look. Oh, okay. So it's also not, there are certain foundations that I found, like when I apply them with a brush, I get like streaks all over my face, and I'm not getting that streakiness with this foundation. it really did, like, it's not settling into my fine lines at all. It is just kind of like gliding into my skin. And it's minimizing a lot of the pores that I have on my cheek. They're not absolutely like beam me up Scotty huge, but they are there sometimes, especially depending on what kind of foundation I wear. And I've actually had this on for a couple minutes and it's not oxidizing either. Like, this is really, really pretty. And it covered up my hyperpigmentation in here as well. This is half with, half without. What do we think so far? I'm kind of impressed. I am kind of impressed. But is it the best foundation of 2025? We are going to find out. Let's see how it covers my blemish. Because that blemish is like blemishing. And look. Can you see it? So there are a couple things I'm going to be looking for when I examine myself in the mirror. We already know that it really didn't like streak on my face. It's actually a pretty, like, it's not a stiff formula, I should say. It does blend in really easily, but it's not like a super runny formula. So I did not get streaks on my face. Now, as far as it goes with like clinging to anything funny, I'm looking for that. I always have problems with foundation and how it sticks to my nose. I don't know why, but I think it just has to do with the way that my skin is. And if a foundation does not stick to my nose, it's like, okay, is this really going to work for me or not? And it is sticking rather decently well. It's having a little bit of problems like on the tip of my nose, but now that I've patted it out a little bit, it's doing okay. And then the other thing I'm looking for is if it's clinging to any dry spots on my face at all. Like if I have any dry spots or if it's clinging to like the blemish funny and it's like creating like this dry look. And so far, it doesn't look to be doing that. Like I have some fine baby hairs, but like, I mean, that's going to happen. Everybody has fine baby hairs up near their hairline. And it also is not oxidizing at all. So that is a good thing as well. So I'm actually just going to take a little bit more on the foundation plate. It's like half a pump, not even, because I want to build it up right around that blemish. And basically I'm taking it on the plate and like shearing it out a little bit on my foundation brush. I don't want like a whole product. I don't want a whole bunch of product on here. I just want enough that I can like stamp this on the face and I can blend it out a little bit and really blend this into my skin. But I did just notice that like I barely dipped into it and that actually covered up quite a bit of area. And I am going to try layering this in a couple places where I really don't want my redness to show through and I really want it to blur and smooth my face. Now I do have like a beauty mark, a freckle spot here. I do not think it's going to completely cover this, but we're just going to add a little bit more coverage to this area. All right, so this is what it looks like. It's completely on my face. We did add some layers and I didn't notice any like over texturization at all, especially when I added the layers. And it's not clinging to that blemish that I have at all. Because sometimes foundations will cling to a blemish and it makes it look like this weird like dry patch on your face. So this actually applied very, very well. I want to see how it layers with other products and if it plays nicely with other products. So we are going to put on the rest of my face and then I will give you my final thoughts on the initial application of this foundation. I just set my face with the Huda Beauty Easy Bake setting powder in the shade Cupcake, and it still looks really, really nice. It's not clinging to anything funny. So let's go on to blush, bronzer, and highlighter and see how these apply as well. I'm not noticing that the foundation is like moving at all on my face, which is also good. I just realized I forgot to put on concealer, but that's okay because this foundation literally covered up so much of my face and I don't feel like I need concealer right now. here's the completed full face of makeup with the new Anastasia Beverly Hills Impeccable Blurring Foundation, the second skin one. All right, so it is currently 11:30. It's 11:30 in the morning. Technically, it's almost noon, but it's 11:30. I plan to do at least a 10-hour wear test with this foundation, so I will do check-ins with you throughout the day. First impressions, though, this looks really pretty. It looks really natural, and it does look second skin. And I do have to say, so far, it's holding up to all of the claims that it had, is that it's matte, that it has a medium full coverage, that it does not settle into fine lines and wrinkles, that it blurs, that it smooths, and that it is, you know, like second skin. It is really pretty. It layered really, really nicely with all of the powder products that I put on today. And so we're going to go about my day, see how this wears, and then we will do a final check-in at the end of the night, and I'll give you guys my final thoughts and opinions about this foundation. But so far, I really like it. I think it's beautiful. And I think I forgot to put the price in there, but it retails for $46. So it's a pretty penny. All right, this is what the foundation looks like in natural light. It is a really sunny day today, but I wanted to give you a look at this. I'm filming this on the front-facing camera of an iPhone 15 Pro Max, just so you guys can get all that you can. So this is what it looks like on the skin. Very skin-like. There is no oxidization at all. It did not settle into my nose like super funny. Yes, I have fine lines. I mean, that's going to happen. But overall, it looks really pretty on the skin, even in natural light, which I'm thoroughly impressed with. So I have worn this foundation for the past couple of days now, and I do have some final thoughts on this foundation. I actually wore this foundation with a gripping primer after I tried the silicone primer, and to say that it gave me more of a full coverage is the understatement of the century. I did use it with the Aqua Splash gripping primer from Catrice, and it like adhered to my face so much, and it was actually hard to maneuver the foundation around my face, so I had to be really quick to blend it in. Like that stuff just glued the foundation onto my face so much. Now, when I wore the liquid poreless putty primer from e.l.f., I did find that I had some weird wear issues with the foundation, especially around my nose. Like it started to really separate around my nose, and that really bothered me. When I used it with the gripping primer, though, I didn't have as many wear issues as what I did with the silicone-based primer. So I would definitely recommend using like the Catrice gripping primer or even the e.l.f. gripping primer when wearing the new Anastasia Impeccably Matte Foundation. I think it works way better with that foundation than what it does with a liquid poreless putty primer or the poreless putty primer. Now, other things that I did notice about this foundation is that it really doesn't hold up to 12 hours. It is more of like an 8-hour foundation, which to me, if I'm paying $46 for a foundation, I want it to last at least 12 hours. I mean, we have drugstore foundations that last and say they last up to 30 hours, up to 24 hours. And this one, it says it lasts maybe 12 hours. But to me, it only lasted like maybe a good 8 before it really started breaking down, especially around my nose and in my fine lines. And it just kind of like started wearing down over time. I also did notice with this foundation that it actually started to like darken on my skin throughout the day. I started getting a ring around my skin where the foundation was like wearing down. And it was really weird because when I applied the foundation, even after sitting and applying the rest of my face, it literally like it didn't oxidize then. It just felt like it oxidized like throughout the day, and it just got darker and darker, which I found kind of weird as well because this was such a good shade match for me. when I initially put it on. So those are my initial thoughts on the foundation so far. I am going to be doing more wear tests with it, just like combining it with different products and seeing how it works. So this is not a final review on the foundation, but I wanted to give you guys my final thoughts upon first impression in wearing it for the first few times and what I saw happened with this foundation. So stay tuned for a speed review on this foundation coming to my channel after I've tried it for a little bit. Thanks guys so much for watching and staying tuned to the end. If you haven't already, definitely consider watching my foundation wear test playlist, and I hope you consider subscribing for more. Bye!